Girls like it when you respect them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm cutting this off.
Welcome to the TLDR channel. Every week we dive deep into different Reddit threads to bring you the best and worst Reddit has to offer.
Hi guys, welcome to the TLDR channel. We read the story so you don't have to, and today we are doing the update to our previous story. This one is titled, I, 23M, broke up with my girlfriend, 21 female, of 3 years because she wanted to remain a virgin. Now she wants to get back together, but told me she had sex with someone else when we were broken up. How should I proceed?
Here's the update. Hello again. I appreciate people taking the time to comment on my last post. The response was a lot more than I expected, with over 2,000 comments. I'm amazed so many people wanted to comment about my situation. Thank you. Warning, this post is long. I have kept a daily journal since I was 16. Sussy boy. A lot of what follows is dumps from my journal. Yes, I know it's not concise. I'm going to refer to my ex as Ellie, not her real name. I'd like to write a bit about my comments because so many people took the time to provide thoughts, and I appreciate that. The majority of comments were some variation of move on, a clean break. A minority said give her a chance and see how it goes. Plenty calling me an a-hole for ending it because I wanted sex in a relationship, or for being obsessed with her virginity, that I dumped her because she wouldn't put out. And quite a few saying me breaking up with her made her feel like sex is necessary to keep a guy, and that it drove her heartbroken into the next guy's bed. There were a few she's pregnant comments. Not that I know of. It's not impossible, but if that happens, it won't be anything to do with me. The dude saying I should F her and leave her, or worse. Seriously, some of you guys need a hug or a psychologist? No. I would never use her like that, no matter what our past. Ellie and I were a loving couple for years. That counts for something even after we broke up. Feeling hurt doesn't justify using her, or anyone else for that matter. As for the comments that I have some hang up about our virginity, my issue was when we were together, we weren't having sex in our relationship, not whether she was a virgin or not. But wasn't directly an issue either way to me. What? Then why'd you break up with her? If she hadn't been a virgin and wanted to be abstinent, I would have been in the same situation. What?
I'm very confused now.
Let me reread that to make sure. My issue when together was that we weren't having sex in our relationship. Okay. Not whether she was a virgin or not. Her being a virgin was her reason for being abstinent, but wasn't directly an issue either way to me. If she hadn't been a virgin and wanted to be abstinent, I would have been in the same situation. But she wanted to be abstinent because she was a virgin. So that's a dumb argument. Okay. Anyways, we'll just keep going. The title of my last post was not great, really. I broke up because we were not having sex, not because she was a virgin. Bear in mind, for 3 years, Ellie had everything she wanted from her relationship: boyfriend, love, affection, loyalty, support, and a guy who respected her and her wishes to be abstinent. While she got 100% of what she wanted, for me, there was a big element missing, and there is no way to reconcile that. Either
pretty sure that he said in the previous post that they had been intimate, like that they were doing sexual things, but not intercourse.
Yes.
So,
and there was no way to reconcile that. Either we were having sex or not having it. Sex requires both of you to say yes, and that wasn't going to happen. Mm-hmm. With hindsight, I should have ended the relationship early on when Ellie first told me she wanted to wait till marriage. When we were together, I was a naive 19-year-old who had never had a girlfriend before, so I kind of went along with things because I really liked her and got along well. I fell in love with her and then kind of felt stuck in a relationship that wasn't what I wanted. I've learned from this and won't make that mistake again in the future. I want to make active, not passive choices in future relationships. To not just go along with things because they are what another person wants. Our views about sex in a relationship were not compatible, so I ended the relationship rather than waiting any longer.
Can you slow down?
Sorry. Hoping she'd change her mind. It was scary to take that step, and I put it off for so long because I didn't want to hurt her. But I couldn't stay in the relationship just for her. I had to also consider myself. My mistake was waiting for so long to get to that point. I regret that, as it has caused her more hurt than if I ended it early on. Many of you say that sex just isn't as important, but it is for me. At least as part of a relationship. You can disagree, that's fine. Some people are fine doing no sex in relationships, no judgment for me. That's not what I want. Some people took issue with me saying she strung me along. On reflection, that's fair. Ellie was clear to me about wanting to not have sex until marriage. I foolishly stayed for too long, hoping she'd change her mind one day. She didn't. That was my mistake. I strung myself along, really. She never had led me on in any way. Mm-hmm. It hurt to learn that she had had sex with the next guy relatively quickly after I waited so long. But she is my ex, so that is not my business anymore. She's allowed to change her mind. She also can have sex or not, and with whoever she chooses. I don't get to say in it. My hurt is emotional response, not a logical one. Logically, I see she did nothing wrong by me. I'll get over it. It's just my bruised ego. If I'm honest with myself, I'm feeling I'm somehow a lesser man because she took the step with the next guy. I know objectively that isn't true, but I sure feel it. I was not a perfect boyfriend and I have made mistakes. I have learned from them. I don't regret breaking up with Ellie. Enough background. A few things have happened. Last weekend was the Australia Day long weekend. Must be an Australian thing. Mm-hmm. I was on a camping trip in the Grampians for any Aussies reading. It was so nice to be in nature, to do some bushwalks and with friends and decompress. It felt good to talk about the Ellie situation with my mates around the campfire. Most of them knew Ellie pretty well from our years together and had wider interviews, just like the commenters on my post, and I got the usual good-natured shit about all being a virgin. I learned there's an expensive bottle of scotch they had brought a while ago that's going to have its seal cracked when mine is stupid. One great question. A friend asked me whether I would have ever decided to take back Ellie if she ever reached out to me first. The answer is no. It was so obvious to me. That cut through a lot of the confusion for me. I was being too passive in the situation and needed to do what I wanted, not just react to what Ellie wanted.
Yeah.
By the time I was on my way home, I decided not to get back together with her. But that was moot. When I was driving home and got a mobile signal again, no mobile network where they camped. The network delivered a bunch of messages from Ellie all at once. She said she was the wrong to ask me to get back together and that she was back with Tim, fake name. And she also texted me that Tim is more serious than she told me when she last met with me. She apologized for misleading me about her and Tim's relationship. If you remember, she called him a fling before. She asked if we could meet to talk about it. I was not happy, so I just texted her back, no. Not very mature of me, but I wasn't in the mood to hear about this. And I was surprised and pissed off that she lied to me. This seemed very out of character for her. She tried calling me, but I didn't answer. She went on another text saying, Tim and I had a fight. I shouldn't have come to you. And finally, I'm sorry. When I got home, I was an idiot and let the curiosity get the better of me. I looked up Tim online. His given name is uncommon, so it wasn't hard to find. Found him on LinkedIn and gave me his full name. Ellie is one of the connections and works at the same firm, so I was confident it's him. He's a director at their firm, one level below partner. He also has pics on Insta. Lots of posts about his adventures around the world and at various events and exotic places, as well as shots with an expensive-looking car. A few photos of him with Ellie and their arms around each other in Singapore in November. I guess that confirms it was serious. He wouldn't have public pics with her if it was a casual fling. All that just made me feel bad. No good comes from comparing myself to my ex's successful boyfriend. Ellie is not my girlfriend, and I'm not in competition with Tim, so I won't do that again. My bruised ego is enough already. I have been living very frugal my whole life at the uni, so I know I can feel in fear when I see people with wealth. That's another me problem to sort out.
So the first thing that kind of popped up into my head was, how were you able to wait when I told you? Like, what was your response to me being a virgin and not wanting to have sex until marriage?
I mean, like I said before, look, I've been with plenty of people when I was younger, and I know the value of, well, as I got older, it just made sense to me to respect
women.
I guess you could say that. No, it just made sense that, you know, if you're not comfortable doing it, then I wouldn't want to do it either. Mm-hmm. I mean, even if I did, I wouldn't want to pressure you into doing it because I want it to be something we both enjoy, not something I'm like taking, like trying to convince you and coerce you into doing, like, oh, this is going to be so good. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's, you know, in my opinion, if you really care about someone, then you wouldn't force them to. You would both want to do it when you're both ready. And he wasn't ready for that, and that's fine. I mean, he sounds like a little selfish dude, a little bit. But at least, you know, I can say from the reading this that he is being mature in a way that he knows that he wants that in a relationship, which is fine. He's going to get a reality check if he expects it all the time, though. You know what I'm saying? Because if your girl ain't happy, boy, you ain't getting it. All right, you can try to coerce her all you want, but it ain't going your way if she's upset or if she doesn't want to. Right?
Yeah.
You can try all you want. So respect to him for, you know, owning up and saying like, hey, this is what I want, and you know what? It was my bad for expecting it and trying to change her mind, which you shouldn't have done anyways, or thought she would change her mind. She told you from the beginning. And I'm glad he owned up to it, so that's mature. He realized what he wanted, and you know, he wasn't. I guess that's what he wants. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm a little confused because now she's willing to have a sexual relationship with him before the text message fiasco.
I think she's having. This is my opinion. I think she is still very much in love with him.
Yes.
And I think she is...
She doesn't want to regret having that guy be her first.
Or maybe. I think it's more that she still cares about this, the main OP, right? And she's trying to make him jealous and stuff like that. And I think it's more that she just loves him and still wants him and desires him and cares about him and wants to share that part with him. And maybe that's all it is, right? That's what it seems like to me. They both seem pretty immature.
Yes. They seem young, which, I mean, 21, 23, yeah. I mean, you remember that age.
Yeah.
But I definitely, like, obviously before I met you, I dated other guys, and there were boyfriends and even guys that I didn't have as my boyfriends but dated would try to either coerce me or pressure me into it. And I knew that that was something that I really wanted, and I drew a very clear boundary on it. So for a good chunk of it, the guys that just were not interested in that and wanted to have a sexual relationship and weren't willing to wait, like, they weeded themselves out. It's never a bad thing. Having those boundaries and having someone respect them is always going to be beneficial, because you don't want to be with someone who is just going to continuously cross boundaries that you are not comfortable with and that you have set for yourself in the relationship.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're a guy that desires to have sexual relationships very early on in your relationship, that's okay. Go ahead. But if your partner doesn't want to, then you just have to know that maybe this is not the person for you.
Yes.
And if you do respect her and say, hey, you know, I respect that you want to save yourself, then I can wait. And I know there's probably some people out there who be like, oh, well, she slept with like however many, well, okay, whatever. People can reinvent themselves, right? People can change their minds. People can want to change the way they have been, right? And that's their choice. Yeah, they can heal, they can grow. And if they don't want to do that anymore, they don't want to do that anymore, right? If they, you know, want to save themselves so that they can make it special for the next person, then that's their choice. Whether boy or girl, right? It doesn't matter. And you just got to respect that. And if you're not up to that, then just don't be with them. There's plenty of people in the world. I mean, there's a lot, right? So just find someone else. Unless you live in some remote place where there's only two of you, you know, you just got to respect anyone else, right? And then just move on. Just make it easier for you.
I think there's also people that claim to respect that decision and will still try to bypass it.
Well, sure. I mean, there's always that desire for obtaining that V card, but which I don't think everyone has their thing, I guess. But I think that he was being fairly mature on the second part. Still fairly selfish in the way he was talking, but I mean, at least he identifies what he wants. So.
Yeah. And with Ellie, I think it might be like the thing that you said when we first started dating. Girls who lose their virginity tend to get hooked on the guy, like obsessed with the guy that they lose their virginity to. I know it's like an old sentiment, but I do think that there is some truth to that, especially if she had held on to it so closely. Maybe she is conflicted. I don't necessarily see her as manipulative, if that makes sense.
I'm not sure yet. We'll have to wait and keep reading this very, very, very long post to figure it out. I mean, she's dating a director. The dude's probably at least late 30s, probably 40. I mean, there's young directors too, like early 30s, but or even late 20s, even younger than that. But most likely he's older, right? Because the directors usually at least late 30s, right?
So like 10 years, potentially.
Or even 40s, yeah. They can be pretty old. He seems to be well off, and it sounds like she works at a law firm, right? Because he mentioned partner. Not sure what she's obviously still in love with him, trying to make him jealous of something, or I don't know what she's reaching out, because this new boyfriend or significant other.
I think maybe she thought OP was ignoring her and then went back to Tim as a result of it.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. I mean, we have to keep reading. Okay. So, but I think, hats off to this dude for figuring out and trying to at least define the cause to do something terrible to her just because she, lost it to someone else. Like, come on.
I think he's grown. He's had some growth.
I mean, at least he respects his partner enough to where he would, or cares and respects her enough to not immediately do something terrible just because she lost it with someone else. And he identifies that, and it's like, that's, I realize that, and moving on. And the guys, or whoever is telling him, girls, guys, whoever, telling him to just
disgusting,
to do something with her and leave her immediately.
Yeah.
Like, how would you feel if that was you or your children? Yeah. Think about that. It doesn't matter. It's like he said, it's none of his business. They broke up. He broke up with her. He doesn't, or she doesn't owe him anything.
Yes.
She didn't have to save it for him to come back.
Do you want to talk about maybe why and like how you grew into not pressuring girls? That growth?
I actually am not really sure. I think when I was like my sophomore, junior year, definitely did a little pressuring of my girlfriends and or girls I'm with, but not really that bad though. And then, I don't know, I think it just made me feel bad, like.
Was there a specific incident that made you feel bad and you're like, dang, I don't want to feel like that? No, I'm not going to give that intimate details, my intimate details. Okay. But I think I just feel bad if I pressure a girl and then she doesn't, like, because she says no, then if I keep asking, I already know she doesn't want to do it. Why would I think knowing that a girl she doesn't want to is not a turn on for me. It's turn off. Yeah. I just don't like it. It's just not attractive in my mind. It's like, she's not willing, she doesn't want to, okay, then, that's about it. Like this is
I mean, I think I just didn't like it. I just didn't like the thought of it because I think it's very attractive if I know someone else wants to. Or even, in that phase where you don't know, but like the mystery of if they want it, right? Yeah. But you can tell the tension, you can tell they do, then that's more exciting than if she's like, no, I don't want to. Okay, then that's it. But that's that's me. That's my beliefs. I don't like it. It's not attractive to me. Knowing your partner wants you is very attractive. Yeah. Or the mystery of meeting someone new, like, ooh, does she? You know what I'm saying? But if they told you no, then you just be like, oh, okay, that's fine.
What would you say to the younger men to help them respect women more and know about boundaries?
Well, I think it's difficult to teach boundaries and age, especially when you're younger, you're very awkward. You don't know. You even like both sides. Let's say, as a guy, you want to do stuff. As a girl, do you even communicate correctly that you want to? You know what I'm saying? Or that they want to, or maybe they're not sure. But, maybe in that instance, it's not more like convincing, but maybe they're nervous and,
shy.
Yeah. And
inexperienced.
Look, usually people, when you're a teenager, you don't talk about it like that. You're just doing stuff, right? So there's not a lot of communication. If she says no, then just no is fine.
No is a complete sentence.
No is fine, right? If she's not up to it, then she's not up to it. She'll change her mind or she won't. I'll give this advice though. Majority of girls I've been with, when I said no, were more attracted and wanted me more when I respected them than when I didn't. And they wanted to do stuff more often when I respected them. I'm going to tell you that right now. I said no to a girl, and later on she came on to me the same night because I said it was fine. I was like, no big deal. Let's go do something else. Because we were getting intimate, and then she said she didn't want to do it. I was like, okay, that's fine with me. I don't care. Let's go hang out. Let's watch a movie.
And you can always take back your consent.
Yep. And just keep in mind, girls like it when you respect them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm cutting this off. Kids don't need to hear that. Like, oh, well, if I pretend to respect her.
No, okay, yeah, I know. You sound bad, but if you genuinely mean it, they know, they can sense it, right? Because even if I did want to, it's just my personal opinion.
I guess when I was in that situation, I could tell the difference that you were okay with waiting, and even if we didn't get married. Yeah,
it doesn't hurt my feelings. I was never worried. I told you I'd rather have you save it than be a virgin the entire time. I was fine. I don't care.
There was a guy that I dated, and he tried pressuring me into it, so I broke up with him the first time that he tried. Because he already knew where I stood. So for him to be like, well, come on, I'm a man, and blah, 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 the whole spiel. Go get it.
Yeah.
Like,
look, if you're one of those guys that needs it like that, then that's okay. That's on you. You got a high libido or something, whatever. But then just leave the girl that doesn't want to alone, right? There's plenty of girls that do want to, just have some respect for those girls who don't, right? They're saving it for someone special or for, it could literally be any reason, honestly. Yeah. I don't care what it is. It doesn't even have to be for marriage. It could be for like a quinceañera. I don't know.
Yes.
And not saying 15-year-olds. I just threw out a festival. I don't know why I said a quinceañera. I could mean EDC, whatever, She's saving it for EDC or, to a rock concert or her first bar. Who knows?
Yeah, I was like, excuses.
Yeah. It literally doesn't matter. I mean, it's pretty, whatever the conviction is, you can do whatever you want with your life, right? You could save all of your money for one specific car and that's the only car you want. That's fine. Just do it. That's on you. But if someone else wants a different car, let them get it.
Exactly. This is going to be a 4-part. We will get into the next story in the next one. Okay, hold on.
Cancel that.
Hold on. Edit, Annie. Pay attention. Okay, so this is actually going to turn into a 4-part series. We will just continue for the next one, and just join us. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying, so just join us. If you want to keep the party going. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more episodes. Drop your comments, suggestions, and thoughts on these stories. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep on living.